The confined Jewish quarter of Frankfurt, Germany, during the 18th century was where it all began. Here, amid narrow streets and restrictive laws, a young man named Mayer Amschel Rothschild struggled against the limitations imposed by his birth. The discriminatory regulations of the time prohibited Jewish residents from owning property or engaging in agriculture. These constraints forced Jewish families into specific occupations, particularly trade. Mayer initially followed convention, dealing in textiles like his ancestors before him. The Frankfurt ghetto was a world of threadbare merchandise and cramped marketplaces, where Jewish merchants were forbidden from trading in prestigious goods like weapons, luxury silks, or even fresh produce. But Mayer possessed an entrepreneurial spirit that refused confinement. He recognized that textile trading offered minimal profit margins and began searching for more lucrative opportunities. His breakthrough came when he discovered the profits available in trading rare coins and antiquities. This pivot proved transformative. Mayer demonstrated exceptional skill as a dealer, and in the process, he uncovered a strategy that would today be recognized as insider trading or front-running. His position as a court agent essentially made him an 18th-century stockbroker, with Prince William of Hesse-Kassel as his primary client. The arrangement worked like this. When the prince desired to acquire rare gold coins, he would instruct Mayer to procure them from the marketplace. Mayer's innovation was to purchase these coins first with borrowed capital, then immediately resell them to the prince at a markup. This dual-role strategy generated profits from multiple angles. He collected substantial commission fees, sometimes reaching 8%, while simultaneously profiting from the price differential. This practice gave him an unfair advantage that compounded his wealth rapidly. By 1782, Mayer had accumulated substantial wealth and secured the prestigious role of managing Prince William's considerable fortune. But Mayer understood that this achievement represented only the foundation of his ambitions. To establish lasting influence in finance, he needed to evolve from a court agent into a full-fledged banking institution. This transformation was crucial because banks commanded respect and legitimacy that mere traders could never achieve. Mayer's transition into banking proved brilliant. As the 1700s concluded, he had become Frankfurt's wealthiest resident. Yet even this remarkable success failed to satisfy his larger vision. Mayer dreamed of creating something that would transcend his own lifetime, a family dynasty capable of outlasting nations and empires themselves. The drive behind extraordinary success rarely stems from money alone. Wealth becomes merely a metric, a way of tracking achievement. What truly motivates exceptional individuals is the relentless pursuit of the next challenge, the desire to raise the stakes and win increasingly complex games. Mayer embodied this mentality completely. He understood that confining his operations to Frankfurt or even Prussia would limit his dynasty's potential. To build something truly monumental, he needed a strategy as bold as his vision. His solution was to dispatch 4 of his 5 sons to Europe's most influential capitals: Vienna, Naples, Paris, and most importantly, London. In the early 19th century, Great Britain stood as the world's preeminent superpower. The British Empire sprawled across continents, protected by the Royal Navy, which dominated every sea. The Industrial Revolution was transforming Britain into a manufacturing colossus, while London's financial district, anchored by the Bank of England since 1694, had emerged as the world's financial nerve center. Mayer recognized that establishing a presence in London was essential for the family's long-term prosperity. He entrusted this critical mission to his 3rd son, Nathan Rothschild. For Nathan, the weight of expectation was crushing. He felt compelled to prove himself worthy of the family name and equal to the legacy his father was building. Nathan possessed fierce ambition and a competitive nature that manifested in both his business dealings and personal interactions. Armed with £20,000 from his father, Nathan was determined to multiply this capital as rapidly as possible through any legitimate means available. London's textile industry was experiencing explosive growth during this period, characterized by numerous small workshops producing everything from cotton to silk. Nathan identified an opportunity to extract maximum value from this expanding market by controlling multiple stages of production. According to his own later accounts, Nathan created a vertically integrated operation that generated triple profits. He explained his strategy. By supplying both raw materials and dyes to manufacturers, while simultaneously purchasing their finished goods, he captured profit at 3 distinct points in the production chain. This allowed him to undercut competitors on price while maintaining superior margins. His original £20,000 swelled to £60,000 in short order. But Nathan didn't limit himself to legitimate trade alone. He also ventured into the profitable gray market of smuggling textiles and precious metals. By 1808, Nathan had established a reputation for superior management, judgment, and connections that enabled him to consistently deliver goods to continental Europe despite trade restrictions. Within a few years of launching his London operations, Nathan reported sales approaching £800,000. Now possessing substantial capital, Nathan set his sights on transforming his enterprise into a banking house that would eclipse even his father's Frankfurt operation. By 1812, Mayer Amschel Rothschild's health began failing rapidly. Recognizing that death approached, he gathered his sons and impressed upon them a principle that would become the foundation of the dynasty's enduring success. Family unity must supersede all other considerations. This commitment to familial solidarity, combined with their distinctive business practices, explains why the Rothschild dynasty continues thriving today. As the Rothschild sons established their respective banking houses across European capitals, the continent entered a century-long era of warfare. Unlike 18th-century conflicts, which typically concluded with negotiated truces, 19th-century wars increasingly took on ideological dimensions that made them far more difficult to resolve. By 1814, the Duke of Wellington was winning decisive victories against Napoleon and preparing to invade France. However, Wellington faced a logistical challenge. His campaign required enormous quantities of French currency to purchase supplies and pay troops. Wellington's operations were conducted during a period of unprecedented fiscal strain. In protracted campaigns like those in the Iberian Peninsula, sophisticated procurement methods became essential. The ability to purchase supplies locally and compensate troops in appropriate currency was critical. Nathan Rothschild recognized this as an opportunity of generational significance. If he could meet Wellington's challenging requirements, it would elevate his bank to unprecedented prominence. Nathan later made the transaction sound effortless. When the East India Company needed to sell £800,000 worth of gold, Nathan purchased the entire lot, anticipating that Wellington would desperately need it. He had also been buying Wellington's discounted bills. When the government approached him for the gold, they faced another problem: transporting it to Portugal. Nathan arranged everything, including delivery to France. This transaction became the most profitable deal he ever executed. As Europe descended into a century of warfare during the 1800s, nations increasingly required foreign exchange services. Wars demanded financing, and defeated nations typically owed reparations. For the Rothschild banking network, warfare became extraordinarily profitable. Their interconnected banking houses across European capitals provided a unique competitive advantage. The modern banking system was still in its infancy, allowing them to charge substantial fees, sometimes as high as 8%, for currency exchange services. But commission fees represented only a fraction of their revenue streams. The Rothschilds understood that in finance, information represents power and speed determines winners. They pioneered successful foreign exchange trading by establishing one of the earliest private courier networks. Using dedicated messengers, highly trained horses, and even homing pigeons, The Rothschilds maintained an information advantage over competitors. Currency speculation consequently became their most lucrative business line. Profits flooded into the London house, and Nathan Rothschild became the wealthiest individual on earth. However, even the most powerful financier cannot defeat mortality itself. On July 28, 1836, the unexpected occurred. Nathan Rothschild, the world's richest man, died at only 58 years old. This was particularly surprising given the family's longevity. Nathan's mother was still alive and would live past 90. The London Times published one of its rare superlatives, declaring Nathan Rothschild's death among the most significant events for the city and possibly all of Europe. His financial operations had been unparalleled in scope. Nathan's death profoundly impacted financial markets, but the Rothschild banking empire survived his passing. Their decentralized banking structure, with autonomous houses across Europe, ensured continuity. Nathan's youngest brother, James Rothschild, in Paris, assumed command of the family dynasty. James faced immense pressure bearing the Rothschild name. While government bonds and war financing remained profitable, increasing competition eroded profit margins. To bring renewed glory to the family, James sought new competitive advantages. Unlike his other brothers, James possessed intellectual gifts and temperament comparable to Nathan's. Now in command, James Rothschild directed his attention toward an emerging industry, railroads. The early 1800s witnessed rapid railroad expansion across Europe, beginning with England's Stockton and Darlington line in 1825. Railroads revolutionized transportation, accelerated industrial growth, expanded trade networks, and fundamentally reshaped landscapes, ultimately connecting major European cities and regions. Throughout the 1840s, the Rothschilds financed numerous railway ventures, earning substantial profits from commission fees while trading railroad bonds and stocks. They employed sophisticated financial strategies, often using other investors' capital to minimize their own risk exposure. James Rothschild played a pivotal role in what the French called syndicate financing during this era. By this point, the Rothschilds had evolved beyond mere banking into a diversified financial powerhouse. While Rothschild profits soared, ordinary people struggled desperately. Income inequality remained as severe as ever. After suffering consecutive military defeats, the French government by the 1840s found itself drowning in debt. The nation's economy teetered on the precipice, and the French population grew increasingly resentful toward both the government and the financiers supporting it. Within days, the Rothschild Bank in France approached collapse. As head of the French banking house, James desperately sought assistance from his nephew Lionel in London, Nathan Rothschild's son. For Lionel, rescuing his uncle's operation entailed significant risk and potential losses. However, family unity remained paramount. His London bank arranged a loan that saved the French house from destruction. But Lionel's commitment extended beyond family. He believed he bore responsibility for advancing his entire community. Lionel thought that entering government would help combat prejudice against Jewish people. His substantial wealth enabled him to purchase press support for his political aspirations. By the mid-19th century, most restrictions on British Jews had been eliminated. In August 1847, Lionel de Rothschild stood as Liberal candidate for the City of London and won election. One obstacle remained. To be fully sworn as a Commons member required taking an oath on Christian scriptures. Lionel refused, insisting he would swear only on the Old Testament. His eventual seating represented a monumental achievement for the Rothschild dynasty. What Lionel failed to anticipate was that while the Rothschilds dominated European finance, a new banking empire was emerging that would challenge their supremacy. Junius Morgan was a British banker at the merchant banking firm George Peabody and Company. When Peabody retired in 1864, Junius assumed control. He understood that competing at the highest level required entering government financing. For bankers in the 1800s, nothing provided greater opportunities than wars. In 1867, France attempted to purchase Luxembourg from the Netherlands. Prussia opposed this, escalating tensions. On July 19, 1870, Napoleon III declared war on Prussia. Having financed wars for a century, the Rothschilds possessed uncanny ability to predict military outcomes. They had zero confidence in France's ability to defeat Bismarck and refused to lend money to France. While major banking houses like Rothschild and Baring avoided French government loans, Junius Morgan saw a lifetime opportunity. French military victory was irrelevant to him. What mattered was whether France could repay loans. He quickly recognized that even if France lost, the nation's economic resilience and efficient tax collection system ensured repayment capacity. Through his syndicate, Junius Morgan raised over £10 million for the French army. The war ended in decisive German victory. When hostilities ceased, the defeated French government fulfilled its obligations rather than defaulting. They even prepaid bonds in 1873. Junius Morgan walked away with approximately £1.5 million profit. This windfall vastly augmented his firm's capital and propelled him into the upper echelon of government financiers. The House of Morgan had become a formidable force. While Junius Morgan built his banking dynasty, the Rothschilds faced mounting challenges. Following James Rothschild's death in 1868, younger Rothschild generations became increasingly fragmented. To rebuild prestige, they looked beyond Europe, but to truly recapture past glory, they needed access to more expansive markets. As old empires declined, a new empire emerged that would become more powerful than any in history: America. For years, the Rothschilds had dismissed America as a land of reckless speculation. But observing the House of Morgan's rise and Wall Street's emergence as the new global financial hub, the Rothschilds began pursuing American opportunities aggressively. The best opportunities in finance often arise during crises. For America, that moment arrived on May 9, 1893, when the railroad industry collapsed, triggering one of history's worst depressions: the Panic of 1893. President Grover Cleveland was determined to maintain the gold standard. The Cleveland administration faced dangerously depleted gold reserves, prompting him to seek assistance from J. Pierpont Morgan, who had become head of the House of Morgan. Morgan understood this would prove catastrophic for the young nation and his own banking empire. He knew one family possessed access to sufficient gold to rescue the federal government: the Rothschilds. For 3 decades, the Rothschilds had been strategically investing in gold and silver mining operations. J.P. Morgan raised $65 million by issuing government bonds, using the proceeds to negotiate with the Rothschilds for 3.5 million ounces of gold. The Morgan-Rothschild collaboration made their bond offering exceptionally attractive. The gold bonds sold out within 30 minutes. By the early 1900s, tensions among European powers reached boiling point. Following Archduke Franz Ferdinand's assassination, Europe plunged into full-scale war. This war featured trench warfare, devastating new weaponry, and massive casualties. Though the Rothschilds survived World War I and profited from war financing, their operations were overshadowed by America's rising banking dynasty, the House of Morgan. After World War I, the Rothschild network found itself in disarray. Simultaneously, Europe experienced surging anti-Semitic sentiment. In Germany, a new leader rose to power, spelling disaster for the Rothschilds. In 1939, the largest war in human history erupted. When German tanks rolled into Paris in 1940, the French Rothschilds were in grave danger. Many fled Europe to escape persecution. The family endured significant financial and personal losses as assets were seized. When the war ended, N.M. Rothschild of London took on the challenge of rebuilding. Their core competitive advantage remained government financing, working closely with governments to finance major projects. Rather than pursuing expansion, Rothschild preserved its business model as a private institution, financing elites while avoiding public scrutiny. By 2023, the Rothschild family had diversified interests across multiple sectors, extending far beyond traditional banking. Their enterprises encompass investment banking, wealth and asset management, private equity, and philanthropy. Throughout history, the Rothschild family rarely hesitated about pursuing profits. But when maintaining family legacy was at stake, they demonstrated willingness to sacrifice short-term opportunities. This long-term perspective represents a vision that has enabled their dynasty to endure across centuries of unprecedented change in the financial world.